All right, how's everyone doing? So, part 12 of my collection, which is definitely the very last one, which are two custom jobs I had done. Both of these are from Hanbon Forge. I like Hanbon to do my customs when I can afford it. Again, because of the tariffs, they've had to raise their prices, so haven't really had anything done in a long time. But one of these is something that you just can't find very often, and it's this one right here. This guy right here. Now, it looks a little short to be a wakizashi. That's because it isn't. This is the in-between point of being a wakizashi and a tanto. So most of the time when you see O tantos, everyone goes, O tanto has a very wide blade. That specifically doesn't make it an O tanto. O means big, okay? What I found out in research, what the samurai did was they lengthened the blade of their tantos, because the tanto pre-exists the wakizashi. So let's get into it. So the mouth, as always, they do a good job, but I love the saya I picked out. The saya is just nice. But it's this guy right here. So this thing has a 16-inch cutting edge. 6.5, almost 7-inch handle, which is good. It is very controllable too. Back of the blade, it's got a nice thickness to it, but it does have that distal taper. Double bohea, that's what I chose to go with on this. It is a through hardware 1095 blade. It holds an edge very well. You can do trick cuts with this thing. It's very, very, very nice. I'm glad I had them do it. Eventually I'm gonna have them do a katana to match this. Just right now can't afford it. But yeah, it's got two pins in it, you know, on the handle. So if you're in the fence of like, I want a wakizashi with like a 6.5-inch handle, they can do it. They just put a longer one on there for safety reasons. That's the only reason why. But yeah, I love this thing. This thing is freaking awesome. I'm glad I had them do it for me. It's a fun tanto to use. Doesn't fall out neither. I mean, it stays locked into there. But yeah, it's really, really nice. And as far as I know, I'm the only person who's had a tanto done like this. Most people have them done wide. I didn't per se go with that. I just doubled the length, because normally they're about 12, 13-inch cutting edge. So I just doubled that amount and it came out to be 16. And that's why I told them what I wanted, and they did it. So yeah, love this thing. This thing is nice. This next one was kind of problematic. I wanted Hanbon to do me a shobu, and they said yes, they would do it. 2 months later, almost 3, I was wondering where it was, so I contacted Hanbon. Turned out the forger had broken the sword he was making me because he had tempered it wrong, but he didn't say anything. So the owner was like, hey, you want to fix that? You know, make him a new one. So I think they kind of rushed a little bit. So it doesn't have the okisaki like a shobu normally has. A little disappointing, but some shobus actually didn't have that tip, and that's okay. And it's this guy right here. Now, this one, not much to the tsuba. It's very, very plain. This is what I wanted. All the fittings are just plain. It's more, you could say, Gothic looking than anything. And that's what I wanted. It's got a little bit of rattle in the saya. The fit in the saya is okay on this one. It's not horrible. I've had to shim it. Now, here's the problem. When you actually have a real shobu done, the habakis normally aren't designed for shobus, so they have to use ones for shinogis, which I tried to shape the habaki to it so it's a little tweaked, per se. And I'll tell you why. Because shobus, most people, they get a shobu and people go, oh, we do shobus because the elongated tip. And I'll show you here. Okay. As you notice, it doesn't have the elongated tip, right? Now, this is a differentially hardened blade, and the differential hardening does wrap around the Kisaki. I don't know if I get that in there, my YouTube channel name put on it, Gargoyle's Blade. The only difference about this thing is it will rust like, it won't rust like crazy, but if you don't clean it well, it will. And I will get to the fit of the habaki, don't worry. Now, if you notice, this blade is not as thick as you can see. But it handles really well. Because it's such a thinner blade, I think when they cut the handle kind of wiggles just a little tad bit in there. Everything's tight though. Now, you'll notice some right in there. You see it's a little mashed, basically, because I had to shape it. This is why I had to shape it. Let me get in there. You see that? That's the ridge line. Now, if I turn it, you can see how it's inverted? See how that goes up? Okay. That's another distinction of a shobu. That ridge line does not stay straight. It goes like that. It pitches upward and in, okay? Why they did that is to create less drag when you're cutting. Because a shinogi has that back ridge line, creates a major drag in your blade. But if you invert that thing, that drag is now gone. It's like almost using a unukubi, all right? So yeah. So it doesn't have an elongated tip, that's fine. This thing is sharp as heck. Was this thing perfect when I got it? No, absolutely not. Like I said, I had to mash this habaki down to make it fit tighter because there's way big gaps. And that's due because not a lot of people do a shobu properly. Let me put that away. When I contacted Hanbon to do me a shobu, they specifically asked this blade geometry because this is what makes up a shobu. The only thing, and I think it's because the smith felt like an ass and didn't report he broke my sword during heat treat, he forgot to put the tip elongated, which is okay. I'm not mad about that. A little upset he didn't say anything. Also, from my understand, shobus have a thinner blade profile than a shinogi, and that's due for making it lighter and quicker to use. They can be as thick as a regular shinogi though, all the way. So they tried to do it as the traditional way as they possibly can, minus the elongated tip. But as far as the geometry goes, is spot on, and I appreciate that. Like I said, most people go, it's a shobu, and the ridge line is just straight. That's not actually a shobu. Okay, this is more of a Shobu. And it's got a nice wide, whoop, let me bring it down here. It's got a nice wide base too. It all the way through this thing. It's not super wide, but man, it handles really good. And some metals will rust quicker than others. I've noticed my T10s don't. This one, it did. I was like, holy crap, and I had wiped it down. I may have not have wiped it down good enough, and that would be my fault. So I got to take some Mother's Mag and really polish the hell out of this thing, but I keep it nice and oiled. I have used it though. I need to take it out more. Again, 11-inch handle. Am I happy with it? I mean, I don't hate it. I don't. I like it. I just haven't used it as much as I should, and I think it's because I'm afraid it's going to rust, because it did one time. But that also could have been my fault as well. So I wish they actually had made the Habaki to actually fit the blade profile a lot better. That I will say, but like I said, most of the time they don't make them because people don't order Shobus that much. They order a Shinogi Zakuri. The reason being is, yeah, we have the Unakubi, Motohara, or if you want to call it a Kugurasu. They're generally the same thing. But mainly the Shinogi Zakuri, the reason why it's so infamous, the look of it, is because it is the strongest profile of all the swords. Second is the Shobu. The Shobu, you might as well say, is almost a Shinogi, but not quite. But it is just as strong as a Shinogi. The only weak point to a Shobu would be that elongated tip. So if you minus that elongated tip, ooh, did you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. Anyways, minus that elongated tip being on here, this is super strong blade profile. So, but yeah, it handles really good in the hands. So maybe I'll take it out more. If you guys want to see me take it out and cut more with it, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, if you're on the fence for a Shobu, this is what you want to be looking for. Not just the elongated tip, but that ridge line. Is it straight or does it go like that? So that's the question you have to ask. You should be asking. Is it really a Shobu, or are you just putting an elongated tip on a Shinogi Zakuri and calling it a Shobu? Because if they're doing that, it's not a Shobu. Sorry, it just isn't. Like the mouth wasn't even, let me see here. And not really. It was kind of cut out like a Shobu, but not quite. It was more cut like a Shinogi Zakuri again. So that's why the fit, I think, isn't so good. And like I said, most of the time, people do not ask for a traditional Shobu. So I kind of appreciated that Hanbon was like, you wanted a traditional style, and they tried to perform that. So I don't fault them for that at all, because like I said, most people don't order these specifically like this. Now, I don't know, I know Hanwei made a Shobu, so I don't know what the profile looks like on those. I would love to get my hands on one to see if it's done this way, or if they're just putting an elongated tip on a Shinogi Zakuri, you know. But yeah, other than that, I kind of like it. Like I said, it's very goth. That's one comment when I first reviewed this, when I got it. Somebody said it's a very goth looking sword, so it's very fitting to me, which, yeah, and that's what I was going for. Like I said, the Tsuba is super, super simple, and that's all I wanted. Just simple fittings on this, no bling, no none of that. And I think the way the look came out, it came out the way I wanted it. Were there issues in the beginning for them to make it. Yeah, and like I said, I don't fault them for that. If I think more people were to order Shobus, like the Hibaki, to really start emphasizing the shape of it for a real Shobu, and issues like that wouldn't come up. So, a little tidbit information for you guys if you're looking for a Shobu and you get actually a Shinogi Zakuri, because that's basically what you're getting. But that's it for my collection, part 12. And now we can start moving into testing some of these knives I've got and see how well they hold up. Are they worth the money? Will they perform like they should, or are they just no good? So until then, we'll see you on the next one.